Good afternoon and welcome to Politics and Business Television News Update. I'm Uya Joseph, bringing you the latest headline from across Nigeria and around the world. Coming up, the Presidency announces a record-breaking surge in the non-oil revenue, signaling a major shift in Nigeria's fiscal landscape. Plus, the Northern Youth Leader rejects the proposed state police framework, citing concerns over political misuse and national unity. And the World Health Organization urges Nigeria to allocate 20% of its health budget to public health, calling it vital for long-term resilience. And we begin with tonight with the top story. Tinubu begins 10-day vacation, departs Abuja for Europe. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially commenced a 10-day vacation, departing the capital city of Abuja earlier today for Europe. The announcement was made by the Presidency in a statement released on Thursday. According to the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President's leaves form part of his 2025 annual vacation schedule. The working holiday will span 10 business days, with President Tinubu expecting to divide his time between France and the United Kingdom. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will depart Abuja today, September 4th, to commence a working vacation in Europe, Onanuga stated. The vacation will last 10 working days, and the president will spend the period between France and the UK and then return to the country. This marks the president's first official leave of the year, and while details of his itinerary remain private, sources suggest that the trip will include both rest and strategic engagement. President Tinubu is expected to return to Nigeria following the conclusion of his vacation. We'll continue to monitor the developments and bring you updates as they unfold. Stay with us. WHO calls on Nigeria to boost public health fundings to 20%. The World Health Organization is urging Nigeria to allocate at least 20% of its total health expenditure to public health, citing the need for sustainable financing to build a resilient system and reduce out-of-pocket costs for its citizens. Speaking at the National Health Financing and Dialogue in Abuja, WHO Regional Director Professor Mohammed Janabi praised Nigeria's recent reforms, including the basic healthcare provision funds and the expansion of the state-level insurance schemes. He emphasized that the over 233 million people, Nigerians, would approach this health financing as critical not just for its own population, but for the continent's future. Janabi also called for evidence-based decision, making it to guide resource allocation, and highlighted Nigeria's equity and investment units as models for other African nations. Meanwhile, African Union Commissioner Ambassador Ama Tum Amoa commended Nigeria's approval of $1.7 billion for the HOPE project aimed at strengthening governance and expanding primary health care. She stressed that Africa must prioritize health security, especially in the face of future pandemics and climate-related challenges. Nigeria's leadership, she said, is vital, and the continent is also watching. The Northern Youth Group rejects state police proposal. A leading youth group in northern Nigeria has voiced strong opposition to the federal government's proposal to establish the state police. The statement released in Kaduna had the Northern Youth Council of Nigeria describing the plan as a misplaced priority, warning that it could worsen existing challenges in the nation's security architecture. The group's president, Issa Abubakar, argued that the Nigerian police force is already grappling with underfunding, manpower shortages, and poor welfare, and that creating state-level forces would only compound these issues. He also raised concerns about the political misuse, stating that Nigerian politicians are not yet mature enough to manage state-controlled police without abusing power. Instead, the group is calling for a comprehensive overhaul of the federal police system, proposing a dramatic expansion to 5 million officers to meet the country's growing security needs. The debate, however, state police continues to stir reaction nationwide following President Bola Tinubu recently remarked that plans are underway to introduce the system as part of a broader effort to combat insecurity. We'll keep you updated as the story develops. 17 die, 21 injured as train derails in Lisbon. Portugal observed the day of national mourning on a Thursday after the death tolls from the derailment of one of Lisbon's iconic funiculars rose to 17 and 21 others injured. The crash occurred on Wednesday evening in one of the capital's busiest tourist areas when the Yellow Gloria funicular veered off its tracks on a steep section near the Liberty Avenue and slammed into a building. Emergency services confirmed that at least 11 foreigners were among the injured, including 2 Germans, 2 Spaniards, a French woman, an Italian, a Swiss national, a Canadian and a South Korean, a Moroccan and a person from Cape Verde. 15 victims, altogether 8 men and 7 women, died at the scene, while 2 more succumbed to their injuries later. Authorities suspended operation of Lisbon's 3 other funiculars to check the conditions and safety of their operation. Municipal Civil Protection spokesman Margarida Castro said, Germany's foreign ministry said its embassy in Lisbon was working with local authorities to identify the victim. She said, unfortunately, we must assume that German citizens are also among those affected. There is currently no reliable information on the number, the ministry told AFP. Now moving on. 20.6 trillion naira amid fiscal reforms. This report follows oil revenue having surged by over 40%, reaching 20.59 trillion naira between January and August 2025. Marking the strongest fiscal performance in the country's recent history. In a statement released Wednesday, Presidential Advisor Bayo Onanuga attributed the growth to sweeping reforms, tighter enforcement and digitization of tax and customs systems. He noted that for the first time in decades, oil is no longer the dominant source of government income. Of the total revenue collected, 15.69 trillion naira came from non-oil sources, now accounting for 3 out of every 4 naira, customs alone exceeding expectation, collecting 3.68 trillion naira in the first half of the year, 390 billion above the target. The presidency says Nigeria is firmly on track to meet its annual non-oil revenue goals, and that the challenge now is to ensure these gains translate into better infrastructure, education, healthcare, and job creation. A fiscal turning point, it seems very necessary and underway. That's it for now on Politics and Business Television News Update. As Nigeria navigates reforms, resilience, and regional debate, we will be here to bring you clarity, context, and fact that matters. I am Joseph Uya. Thanks for watching.